Do you know what time it is, Will?
Is it? I think I know what time it is, but you go ahead and let us know.
Oh,
Intro show.
Put the kids to
Oh,
bed. Put the kids to bed.
yeah. Best intro music of the night.
Had to bring that back. Mr. Richie Longshots, welcome to the program. What are you up to this weekend? Let's just start there, I guess.
so first off, thanks for having me on. Is my mic okay?
You sound fantastic.
Oh, now we're cooking with fire. This weekend, we watched obviously Liberty, Arkansas. We watched the Ponies. Won a couple games, felt good. Watched a ton of football today. I tackled all the leaves that were in my front yard with my wife today. We kind of went after that and watched. I've been watching football since 1 p.m. Jersey time. So I've been enjoying the show, enjoying the podcast so far today, and it's got a school night, so enjoying some water tonight.
What's Jersey time? Is that
Like,
its
no,
own time zone?
I don't think so. I just meant like Eastern time where I was in Jersey. It's been throwing like the Arkansas game. They are an hour behind. It's throwing me off. Daylight savings time, which even as an adult, I still don't fully understand. But yeah, Jersey time, East Coast time, it is what it is.
Beautiful. Well, we are going to have Mr. Longshots. We don't know if we'll have him on every week, but we are going to pick some games each week. Continue the tradition of the lovely A Sea of Red football live podcast hosted by our man Chad Hassan. Will, do you have any questions for Longshot before we move into some picks?
What's in the water bottle?
It's seriously water.
Okay.
It's water.
I saw a documentary recently on Hulu that I will not name, and it said there was other things in water bottles.
Hey,
I got no comment.
I got cut off a little bit earlier, and we skipped the segment to be on. I have a quick Malik Willis update. He's 3 for 6 for 82 yards. He has rushed for 4 carries and 25 yards. And he and Derrick Henry in the RPO is insanely dangerous. They're up 14-9 on Kansas City, who most consider a Super Bowl favorite. Malik is playing a heck of a game tonight. And so that's what you get for my segment here. And we're on to Richie Longshot's picks.
Well, we do have to
Thanks,
comment.
Chad.
What a studio! Look at Chad Hassan's studio here behind him. Like, I mean, this is around the horn. Why don't you take us around?
I got
got a
one
few
for
extra
you.
minutes
I just
here.
got one for you. So these are all cigar boxes of cigars, Liberty Series cigars that are special and for a special occasion. Oh man, I hope that wasn't the right one. So I'll show you 2 for tonight. I got to dig. Oh gosh, I got to dig this one out from underneath. All right, I got 2 I want to show you tonight.
Reverend's out.
First one is Liberty. This is from last night. Liberty, Arkansas. Liberty 21, Arkansas 19. Beautiful, momentous cigar. The other one is Malik drafted 86th overall to the Titans. So that's kind of what we got. One signed by Hugh Freeze. One is a BYU cigar, and then everything else kind of got my diploma up there. Got a helmet signed by Rashad Jennings, right there. And this jersey up here, we're going to take guesses of who this jersey that is later on in the year. So that's all we got.
All right, let's get to some picks. All right, so here's how this is gonna roll this season here. Me, Longshots, Chad, and John make picks. The Reverend, we didn't feel comfortable with him making picks. Feel like that might be frowned upon in some circles. So,
Still a Baptist school, I think, at heart.
Yeah. So, but here's our picks. We're just gonna run through these. Each week we're going to do this, and I think the most fun out of this will be the year to date to kind of see which one of us are the biggest idiots. It'll probably be me. I act like I know everything, and I will do terrible in this. But this will be the Kin Palm spreads, because college basketball, if you don't know, they don't put their lines out in advance of more than like 24 hours. So this is just the Kin Palm spread, so a little bit different than what Vegas says. Before we get into this, Richie, I do have to ask you, what is your college basketball betting philosophy?
So, good question. So to start off the year, there's so many games right now. I was looking at just to start like the top 25. There's not a single game featuring a top 25 team that's got a single digit spread. All tomorrow the opening game spreads, it's up to 39 now. Like, that is so many points, and that is so difficult to handicap when you are thinking, how much are these teams going to be trying in the final 10 minutes of the game? Is it going to be walk-on season, or the walk-ons going to try to be heroes and try to score, play hero ball, score points at the end? So I very much stay away from those games at the beginning of the year. Like, I went in and when I looked at all Division One, I was looking at, all right, what are some of these single digit games featuring, a mid major against a mid major that are going to be able to be handicapped and get a read on them. I'm also looking beginning of the year, and you guys brought this up earlier. We don't really have a tune-up game before Alabama, and I'm sure I'm going to have a bunch of people in my mentions again, like, you didn't pick Liberty, and people tweeting at a sea of red, like, can you believe this person didn't pick Liberty? Like, yeah, this is what I'm here. You bet the number, not the team. So I think that I look for teams that are they treating this big game as a tune-up game, or is this their, big shot to pour it on and put the team, kind of see what kind of team they have. So that's why it kind of worries me with the Alabama game. They have a ton of talent. I think last year they were ranked. They're ranked right now to start the season, right?
Yeah, I think they're 20th.
So I think it's going to be a tall task. We don't have that tune-up game. So during the season, I like teams that score points. It's fun to watch. I'm looking at points per possession. I'm looking at teams that shoot free throws well, as that is such a crucial part in college basketball. That I won't look at a team that is shooting poorly from the free throw line, because you get that late game situations. It's like college kickers all over again. And those who have been following me on the football pod have known that I'm just getting destroyed by college kickers week in and week out. And free throw percentages, a key stat that I'm looking at. Is it a senior, junior led team that's going to step up? And I value that, especially it's something in the beginning of the year. Players that are returning. When I did the picks for the graphic that you had up, I really looked at how much is returned from the year before, because I think that that's a big part. With the transfer portal and the way that is really shaped and taken over college athletics. I really value that cohesive unit and teams playing together and having that chemistry on the court.
Richie Longshots at 8:30 a.m.'s digging through Coppin State's roster to see how senior laden they are. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to run through these more rapid fire. Chad, if at any point you want to jump in, do it. We'll run through these. So the first game of the college basketball season tomorrow, Mississippi Valley State at Baylor. Kimpam has it plus 38. I think it's actually up to plus 39 now.
And real quick, Nick, the over-under, because that's a standalone game. Noon tomorrow. I'll be watching.
You have to bet on it. Like,
yeah, it's a must bet.
Even if it's like $1, bet. You have to put something on this. Yeah.
Oh, the over-under was at 142. So that's was an interesting to look at. I'd be more apt to bet these games. Ooh, Tennessee interception. I'd be more apt to bet over-unders in the beginning of the year than I would point spreads. So sorry, I just interrupted everything.
I'm going with my heart on this. I have to do Mississippi Valley. Win or lose, I want to start my season with the Delta, whatever they are.
The Delta Devils.
The Delta Devils. You have to, you know what? Win or lose, you're riding with that. All right. Yeah. We're going to do a lot of ASUN games, as you'll see kind of through this. Jacksonville at Duke, minus 19. I like this line. I think it's fun. I'm going Duke. You're going Jacksonville, right? right? Long shots.
Yeah, I hate Duke.
Okay.
Loathe.
All right.
Loathe.
North Florida at Gonzaga -28. Everyone except for John. John went with North Florida. I don't see any way North Florida. I think this is an absolute blowout.
Hey, Nick, let me go back to the last game. John Shire's first game at Duke, and he learned from the greatest of all time at covering and Coach K. There's no way he pulls any players off the court unless his team is up 35. John Shire will cover in his first game as head coach at Duke.
Yeah, I like that, and you know they're gonna want to put on a show too. They're gonna want to put on a show for sure. All right, we got Queen's first game in Division One. We all like Marshall. Queens is hosting. Which is kind of cool. Long shots. Why did you go with Queens?
Very simple. They got their coach is going to be out for the first 5 games, and I love when you get an interim and an assistant coach in a situation like this. Like they're going to show up. I'm going to assume that the Queens Arena, whatever it's called, is going to be rocking. It's their first D1 game. Yeah, I'm just going off the fact that you got an assistant coach in there, and they're when I was looking up a senior led team. They went on a run in the D2 tournament last year, and bringing a lot of the same guys back. They didn't really get hampered by the transfer portal at all. But I think home game, they're plus one. Yeah, hungry dog runs faster. Home dogs, give me that all day.
Little Liberty BYU home cooking there.
Yeah,
I just don't think we're gonna sneak up on anyone. So I don't know. I'm interested. Definitely, that's definitely maybe one of the most interesting games of the entire day tomorrow for sure. All right, John was the only one who liked USC -19 hosting Florida Gulf Coast. I think they still have like that series going on from when USC stole the coach. I guessing that's what that's a part of. I'm drinking the FGCU Kool-Aid after everything I've heard. Probably, gonna get bid on that, but yeah, I like FGCU. Any thoughts on that, fellas? No.
a lot of points.
All right.
A lot of points.
All right.
I would love to. Isn't this is the USC coach still the former Dunk City coach that was at FGCU that took them to the tournament? I believe it is. So this is a matchup of I mean, he's coaching against his old school that he made the run in the tournament with, and he wants to show them he made the right move and went to USC however many years ago.
Yeah, Andy Enfield, and now Florida
That's
Gulf
right.
Coast is on their like sixth coach since then.
And I want to bring Long Shots just said Queens, whatever their court is named. Their arena is actually the Curry Arena. They're in Charlotte. The Curry family donated a bunch of money. And if I'm not mistaken, Dale Layer, a former coach at Liberty, was a coach at Queens College, and they named the court after Dale Layer. So it's Dale Layer Court at Curry Arena. Which is or Curry Coliseum or whatever they call it, but it's the Currys and the Layers. Somebody we're really familiar with down there at Queens, and so I thought that was pretty interesting with the Queens game.
I was getting ready to bring that up, Chad. Where is Nick? You probably know better than anybody. Where's Dale Layer at now? Is he in the G League?
No, he's still with
Buzz. He's still with Buzz at Texas
A&M.
A&M. Yeah.
Well, man, I mean, we need to get Texas A&M in Liberty Arena. I mean, Dale's got the hookup to get the schedule going.
After all the me tweeted about him, he's never coming back.
All right, let's move on to Bellarmine, Louisville. I originally said I think Bellarmine's going to be massively overrated this year, and I still think they are. But then Louisville lost to like a Division 7 school, and I'm like, there's no way I'm taking Louisville. Is that kind of, Chad, was that your thoughts on this? Like, there's no way I could take these guys to cover anything right now?
John and I both took Louisville, and that is because Matt Bellarmine is going to be massively overrated. Their coach, honestly, he's going to lose the program very soon if they're not continuing to win. I just don't see it. Like, they lost Penn, the guy who killed us in the tournament. He transferred. He's not a player's coach, in my opinion. And, Louisville, it's a hometown rivalry. It's not like they're sneaking up on anybody. I think that Bellarmine plays in the old Louisville arena.
Freedom Hall.
This is one of those things they're gonna like. Hey, this is our town. No chance Louisville doesn't win this by 20 or more. This is my favorite pick of the entire board is Louisville minus 13.
Ooh, I think I'm actually going to put real money on Bellarmine. So, all right, well we're on it. This will be a fun one to watch. All right, Lipscomb at South Dakota. Chad, we'll just let you were riding with the Bison +5.
Here's the and Nick alluded to it earlier. Anything that Nick guy said, and he's so smart that if I just like expound on that just a little bit, that I'm doing okay. And I think the reason I went with Lipscomb is Asana Sajala. I mean, whenever you have a guy like that, if he's healthy and he's playing well, I mean, he can absolutely work over a team that is not built to stop a big man like that. So it just has to be the right time, the right place, the right pace of play, and he has to actually be on his game. Uh, and I like it against South Dakota. I'm thinking that they will not see a big man like that on their entire schedule, and so I think he can really have a big game. And I'm looking for Lipscomb, and Lenny Acuff down there is their head coach. He's not a bad coach. I'm not sure he's a great recruiter, and I don't know if he gets all the head coach Hugh Freeze promotional activities of a head coach. But as far as X's and O's, Lenny Acuff is going to have his squad ready to go and prepared, and they're a well-coached team from that perspective. Asana Sajala goes off, and they win that game outright. I don't need the 5 points. Give me the money line. Lipscomb.
Come on. Well, I know where Kirby's at with Asajula, that he's overrated. But I do think with a team like South Dakota, I mean, he kind of changes the way your offense runs. And he's 38 years old. So he's the same age as we are.
Yeah, you got a little bit there. But you bring up a good point is that, like, here's the thing with Lipscomb being overrated on the long haul in the season. Yes, I'm not on them winning the ASUN or anything like that. But for one game, whenever they've been prepping for it, the entire off season, they've been looking forward to this game. Any one game at a time, I think Lipscomb can be one of the best teams in the ASUN. Now, over the long haul, no, they're too inconsistent and they don't have enough playmakers. But when Asana Sajala is on, and I believe he will be, they can beat just about anybody in the ASUN on any given night. So I'm not as down on them as you are. Over the long haul, yes, I am. But for one game, give me them money line, and we'll ride.
All right. Vermont.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Nick. I just looked it up. South Dakota's opening up tomorrow against Wisconsin, so they're jumping in like they are not having a tune-up game. They're jumping in with a big game. So I may bet real money on South Dakota looking at that. And I didn't see Lipscomb. I think that's their opener. Don't quote me on that, but it's interesting to see. South Dakota, they're opening up big dog, playing a Big Ten team. So
long
keep
shots
my eye on that one.
Long shots. Let's not bet any real money. Just DM me. We'll come up with something we can do for the podcast next week on a
Yes.
live on a bet for this game.
Little gentleman's wager. I'm in.
And that is South Dakota. That is Lipscomb's first game of the year against South Dakota. Yeah, that's rough. All right, Vermont St. Mary's long shots. You are the only one who is anti Dylan Penn. Actually, I think he might be out. He did transfer to Vermont. I think he might be out for this one. Man, Vermont. How are you not going with Vermont getting 9 points? Such a quality program that every single year is such a top school. Tell me why you're going St. Mary's -9.
I wish I had a long, in-depth breakdown of everything, but it's real similar to when I would be in any of the Old Testament classes, any of the New Testament, Caesar. It was just kind of like looking at the person next to me. What do you got? Were you interested in anything like that? You got that God, did you get a Pilot Travel Center? No. Do you like it? No. It's like a little Britney Spears mic. No, I had it at the house. I'll text you the story, Kyle. But no, I have no read for Vermont or St. Mary's. I got nothing. Sorry.
That was a fantastic comment. All right, and now tell us, why do you hate Liberty?
Why do
You're the
Nick,
you're the
Nick,
only.
Nick, I gotta say something on this one. Look, I'm with long shots here, and he's the only professional, the professional that will go with the numbers, not the team. We all see that Liberty logo and think that we have the inside track, but 12 points to an ASUN team versus a top 20 team in the country who has been playing really well. Um, if my heart wasn't involved, I would probably take Alabama as well. But my heart is involved, and I do feel like I have an inside track on this team and how and Darius can go for 50. So a shout out to
Preach.
Richie Longshots for being the consummate professional here and playing the numbers and not the team and going Alabama minus 12. But yes, why do you hate Liberty, Richie?
Why do I hate Liberty? Good question. I had people ask me, like, are you even an alumni? Like, a whole debacle the last 24 hours have been. No, I just think that they're going to be able to defend Darius. They have the size. And again, we don't get a tune-up game. We are playing Regent. Gun to my head, I couldn't even tell you what state that's in. So I think it's just going to be tough. You said you're right. Richie McKay is going to be, shuffling through the lineup, and it's going to be tough to go from playing Little Sisters of the Poor to Alabama. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I'm not actively sitting here rooting against Liberty. Like, I'm not going to bet the game. But if you make me pick one, when I saw that, I went, you got to be kidding me. Like, terrible timing to be the one Alabama, and someone's gonna take a screenshot of it and tweet it if we cover on Friday, and it is what it is. But no,
Here's the things that Liberty has going for it. One is we lost two staff members, the strength coach Henry Barrera and the SID Stephen Gonzalez. Both are at Alabama now, so I don't think I don't think that it's it's a little extra added motivation, and we're not kind of looking at them as like, oh, we can't beat them. And then I think like you said, we're playing Regent. The thing that gives Alabama maybe an advantage here. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Richie plays like 11 or 10 or 11 guys all the way up until conference play, and then we whittle it back to our best 8. So I think he's going to give everybody an opportunity, even if they're not in our top 8. Everybody will have an opportunity to play at Alabama. That doesn't really bode well for us. If this was conference tournament time or NCAA's, we would only be playing our top 7, 8 guys, and I think we would have a better chance at covering the spread. So the fact that we're still figuring out our rotation is another point for Alabama.
All right, I got an actual stat for you here. Why I think you should go with Liberty. Since 2018, Liberty as an underdog against the spread, 13-7. As a favorite, I lost it, but they're like 23-26. So one thing that Liberty under Rich McKay has been able to prove is that when they are an underdog, they're more often than not going to cover the spread. I think that hurts the other way. We've talked about it before with some of like the computer rankings. When Liberty isn't able to cover these massive spreads of 25 points against, some of the Grambling State type teams that they're going to play. But all right, I'm interested in that. All right, 2 more games. Michigan State versus Gonzaga. This is a neutral site game. Chad, you are the only one going against the trend.
Yeah,
Taking Sparty.
yeah, I've made a lot of money. Well, not a lot of money. I only bet here and there, minor dollars, but I've had some success with Michigan State opening the year. I don't know if you guys remember when they used to do the games on the ships. You guys remember that, where they would
Oh
have like
yeah, oh yeah.
Michigan State.
UNC Michigan State was one of them.
That's right. That's right. And Michigan State was crappy that year. They had ended up having a terrible season, but I believe that they beat or covered at least against UNC, who ended up national title that year. And it's just been like that every single year. Opening up, Tom Izzo has the guys ready to go. They feel like they always start, especially now in COVID. They're going to have so many COVID seniors or COVID year guys. Like they're just always the older team. They're always the more mature team. They're always the they have more fight. Draymond Green is a good example of what that program represents, just in terms of just being a dog on the court. And that kind of hits people in the face to open your season with. Gonzaga, I feel like that they play better with a lather. Like they have to build into their season. They have to let guys step up. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? It doesn't matter with Michigan State. They just throw guys out there. You don't even really have to have your last name on the back of your jersey. You go out there, you have Michigan State on the front. You're playing a certain style of basketball. Whereas Gonzaga's got to figure out, like Mark Few's got to say, all right, we're going to play through our big guy. We're going to shoot threes. We're going to run this type. Like, no, at Michigan State, you know what you're doing. You know why you're there. You're going to have 7 or 8 guys that can go. Tom Izzo is the man, and they just always start at the beginning of the season. Honestly, when I picked this, I thought like 4 years in a row I've bet Michigan State opening the season, and it's always seems to pay off. So here we go. Look up that screen. Draymond Green is a good. He is, man. He is. Draymond Green. He's not my favorite NBA player, and he did punch his teammate here a couple of months ago. But he is like, pretty much like he's nondescript out there on the court. You're always looking at Steph and Clay and everybody else. You're not really looking at him. Same thing with Michigan State. Like they don't have any star players. Their last star player was Mateen Cleaves back when I was in high school. So they don't have a star player. They just have some dudes out there, and they're going to win outright. Don't need the points. Give me the money line. Michigan State's going to beat Gonzaga. So anybody else want some action on that? DM me, Richie Longshots. We're going to have you on here doing the podcast without a shirt next week. So that's just kind of how this is going to go.
Beautiful. Kennesaw State at Florida. Florida 18-point favorites. I love Kennesaw. Kennesaw is an older team at this point. Florida has a first-year head coach. Florida has many times in years past laid eggs. I think Kennesaw could actually make this a game, not just cover that 18. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but if Kennesaw's down 5 points with a couple minutes left, I wouldn't be stunned. Any other thoughts on this big matchup Friday night?
Yeah, this was a big. I looked at returning production, and I went to like Florida basketball blogs, and they didn't seem very excited about this season. So they're not drinking the Gatorade, which actually plays. They're not drinking the Gatorade for football this season. I also got a coworker that went to Kennesaw State. So when it's this early in the season,
is this the same Kennesaw State that I've seen come into the Liberty Arena like 3 years in a row here and just get absolutely waxed? Like Liberty could cover this spread by 18 tomorrow. I mean, they do have some players coming back, but it's acting like they're not the same guys. These are the same guys that were sophomores that were just getting waxed last year. Just because they're juniors doesn't make them better scorers, better passers, better dribblers. It's still Kennesaw State. Yes, they're the super sexy pick this year. Like, they're a program on the rise. Them and Queens, honestly, I'm kind of confused about why we're so hype on these guys. It's like, who did they get? Who did they get? What transfer did they get? What freshmen do they have? It's the same players that just got whipped last year. I don't understand what's the difference. Just because they're a year older, does that make them go from being a 30-point underdog to Liberty to covering and possibly beating Florida?
Chad, who hurt you from Kennesaw State?
And Chad,
I've been in 3 straight years, including COVID year, and watched us just absolutely destroy. I leave at halftime every time Kennesaw State comes down. I don't understand. Like, everybody's so high on Kennesaw State. Is that because these freshmen were supposed to be so good? Yeah, they were supposed to be so good. Their game didn't translate, and they were garbage last year. Just because they're juniors this year, everybody's like, "Oh, watch out for Kennesaw State." It's still the same dudes. They're still wearing the same number. They're still playing the same game.
Chad, they scored 93 points at Liberty Arena last year. Where were you at the end of February?
I don't back anything up. Don't fact check me. don't fact check me. See?
It was like that crazy overtime game that really Liberty probably shouldn't have won. They've just got waxed every time they've come here.
Don't fact check. Kennesaw State stinks, and they're going to lose to Florida by more than 18.
Oh, well, that's the picks. We'll see what we're totaling up here next week. I'm excited about that. Maybe we'll try to shorten this segment down just a little bit. so it doesn't go like an hour. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if the people will. So, Chad, Richie, it was a pleasure.